hours after urging Nigerians to deal with the issue of oil theft, suspected barons of crude oil bunkering on Sunday night reportedly attacked a team of Tantita Security Service Nigeria Limited at Ileja Community Transfago's Western Corridor in Ondo State. However, operative of Tantita, in collaboration with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, mobilized and fought against the attack in the early hours of Monday. As they stormed the community after having received information on the incident where they reportedly destroyed a large store built along the Alowo seashore by the illegal oil bunkers. The suspect arrested reportedly escaped with their speedboats. A statement issued by Tantita Executive Director Operations and Technical Service Captain Waridi Enuso, and copies of which were made available to journalists in Warri Delta State on Monday, noted that Tantita men in collaboration with the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps stormed and destroyed a large store built by the oil thieves, where they sold adulterated crude oil to local buyers, and regrettably, the collaboration of local indigents in the operation of the oil thief, as some community guys attacked the security agents, but were only able to be driven away when the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps had a full exchange of ammunition against them. With these latest successes against oil thefts shows how ready the Nigerian government is in dealing with or giving a heavy blow to this criminals' operation. But the big question on the big story for today is what needs to be done to totally put an end to the issue of oil theft, which former President Olusegun Obasanjo says it's taking 80% of our crude oil revenue. And is the international community also ready to assist to defeat these menace? Well, these and more as it concerns the issue of oil theft is what this edition of the big story is all about. And we're talking about the issue of oil theft and federal government's approach to tackle it. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on the big story. We're looking at the issue of oil theft, especially with what played out in Ondo State in the early hours of on Sunday. And that very full detailed report we got from Tantita yesterday, on Monday morning, giving us a breakdown of what really played out as we look at other issues that surround the issue of oil theft. But anyway, to help us look at it is no other person but a security expert and who's a BSc in security and information gathering. And we're talking of no other person but Omojefe Daffy. Omojefe Daffy, good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike Gray, for having me.
Well, anyway, apart from the Sunday raid and the destruction of the large store in Ondo State, we've had full oil vessels be bombed by the Nigerian Air Force in collaboration with other security agencies in dealing with the issue of oil theft. But I'm really wondering, undermining the huge loss being gotten or being taken by these oil bunkers and thieves, why are they so much still in business? Because we do know how much a vessel is. And destroying a vessel, many will feel that will serve as a deterrent to others to let them really think it through before engaging in such. But yet we still have them come up almost every day in dealing with it. So why is it so? Is it that the loss is not really significant to them? Hence, they continue to do this.
Thank you very much once again, Mike. It's obvious. I think we have a data by the Nigeria Extractive and Industries Transparency Initiative
that released last year, January.
And said Nigeria has lost a whopping, between a period of 11 years, a whopping $46.something million. And that's quite some money. So we look at it, basically it's for the financial gains. It's not because they love to waste money. And that's quite some money. That's about 16.something trillion naira.
Yes, 16.25 trillion.
And so you understand that is a very, very lucrative business. And every business requires some level of risk. And that's why they're in business. So I think there are more measures. I sincerely think there are, like we are going to get there, there are more measures that need to be put in place to checkmate all this.
But you feel strongly that they don't really care if that those losses are there. All they seem to do is to try and see how they can reap more from this illegal deal that they seem to be engaging in.
Are you talking about the risk factor?
Yes, yeah, because I'm amazed. The risk factor is they can die, their properties are being destroyed, and they're being chased everywhere.
What about if you put it like this? You see, from beginning, or right, from inception, in biblical times and all that,
yes,
you know, crime has not been always foolproof.
Okay.
You know, people always know that there are, you know, probably
repercussions
for
yes,
every criminal act carried out, and it has never deterred people from
engaging
in crimes. So, but what we do is that we either put more dowering measures, you know, lawfully or legally, that will checkmate this, you know. But I think that the Nigerian situation is quite different. A lot of factors are responsible for this. And you will agree with me, Mike Ray, you know, oil bunkering or probably oil theft is not a business for the ordinary man. It's not a business for the petty thief.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about people who are in high places. We're talking about people who are in leadership positions.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just, a vessel is not something you can mobilize with about 20 million naira and all that, and you think you are in business. You know, so it's totally a business for a syndicate. And I think if we have to checkmate this, we need to do the fundamental, go to where the basics, you know, do the basics, go to the fundamental, the root cause of the entire problem. That is what we need to look at.
Okay, now, just like the Executive Director, Operations and Technical Service of Tantita, Captain Inosu, he said yesterday that the operation that they conducted on Sunday was hugely successful. But anyway, I'm a bit curious to ask, because we keep getting reports of all of this. And not only that, looking or judging with what former President Olusegun Obasanjo said, when he said, we seem to lose almost 80% of our general revenue to the issue of oil theft. My question now is, are we really winning the war against oil theft? In your own submission, in your own view, and with all the reports you're getting, are we winning that war?
I think that the issue of oil theft is even underreported. It's underreported because you need to walk behind the scenes for you to understand and appreciate the fact that it's worse than what we see here or say.
So that means former President Olusegun Obasanjo is not far from the truth.
He's absolutely right. And I think that there is more that organizations like Tantita are doing that people don't even know. I know by reason of the fact that maybe perhaps I may have played one or two roles. I now understand that they do much more than, you know, in security business, you don't bring everything to the media, I know. So I know that they are doing much more. And even the Nigerian Navy, they are not resting on their hours. They are doing a whole lot of things. It's just that they are getting, the criminals are getting more daring, you know, maybe probably because of this economic gains and all that. But in other words, the same way, I think the government should be decisive, you know, make sure that they weight the big stick to every erring leader or anyone who finds themselves in a position of authority as regard the distributive network of our crude oil, and when you are caught or found wanting, the big stick should be weighted. That's what I think.
Okay, now, thinking about that, I'm also a bit curious. Don't mind me for being curious about some of the operations that we seem to be getting. On the mind, we're getting some successes around the oil theft. But yeah, we do know these issue of oil theft was more centered around the Delta Basin, Delta State to be precise. But in recent time now, we're seeing that the operations are now going deep inland and even to the other shores, like what we saw on Sunday when it was in Ondo State. Who would imagine that we'll have such a huge store of crude oil that were stolen in a community like that? So my question now is it that they are becoming more sophisticated in their operation and spreading around, or do you feel they are being given a black eye in the Niger Delta region, hence they are trying to find other inlands into their operations?
I did recently a paper to one of these oil majors, and I did mention that there will be transfer of oil theft points from one region. Once they know the heat is on, they are bound to relocate. And it's not, to me, it's not a surprise thing that they are finding it, because crime, you know, strives in areas where, you know, we call them black spots, where the activities are not mostly detected easily. So this is what the surprise element they want to use, and I'm not surprised. It's just that the security agencies themselves need to be more proactive.
So all you're saying is not like they are just spreading their operations, but rather running away from where the heat is.
Where the heat is, that's the truth. It's not. I think Delta State is becoming unsafe for their operations. And given the fact that the headquarters of Tantita is in Delta State, and their operations are within this locality, and the Nigerian Navy beamed their searchlight heavily on the Delta Axis and the Niger Delta Basin. And I think that's why you're seeing there is a shift, from this area down to. So I should be expecting more. So like I proceeded earlier, security agencies should try to be more proactive, spread their tentacles, make sure that our surveillances cover more areas. That's what I think should happen.
Okay, now let's leave the issue of smuggling, which would definitely characterize a large number of the oil being stolen from the shores of Nigeria, and look at the issue of local refiners, illegal refiners that also steal this crude oil, and we call them bonfire or bullfire. Let's look at that, and we're looking at a move of dealing with the issues, solution to follow. Now, there's this recent call, funny enough, coming from the National Assembly, that most of these local refineries should not be burnt or bombed per se, that we should also see how we can incorporate most of these illegal refiners into maybe mainstream refiners, and we'll talk about the issue of modular refineries and make them understand it. Now, I want your view on that as an approach, because we're looking at approach to tackle these menaces. Do you see that as a reasonable approach, taking them from being illegal to refining them to be legal, and also being in the business to deal with the issue of the shortage of petroleum products we have?
Now, first of all, you want to ask yourself what is responsible for this.
Okay, so let's know the reason they will get the solution.
Now, the average Nigerian, or rather, I want to put it like this: those who they feel like they are the owners of the oil. They see the level of oil theft at the higher level, and they know that people are getting enriched
from it,
and these are not our people. And at the same time, there has not been quality life right down here. They've been in perpetual poverty over the decade. And so over time, you see economic situations, and
it walks into their mindset.
It walks into their mindset, and unfortunately enough, some time ago they were invited to Abuja, and they got to understand that Abuja was like the showroom, and down here was a workshop, and the workshop is always a messed up environment. So the showroom looks more beautiful. So we got to Abuja, they saw a lot of monies around, a lot of wealth. They saw people owning mansions and all the castles on the crude oil that was being stolen from their area, and they asked themselves the question: what can we do? So what do we now do? I want to give kudos to the House of Rep for coming out with that subject, that postulation, and I think it's something that the government needs to critically look into. How do we set up a regulatory body, to regularize them, integrate them into the oil platform, and regularize them instead of trying to go against them? And basically, we have a shortfall of this, because so this will kind of ameliorate our predicaments when it involves the oil products. So I think that is to me, is a win-win situation. You'll be able to produce higher, at lower rate, and at the same time, be able to provide jobs for these people.
And have regulation on
it. So it's going to be a win-win situation. Government gets more revenue, the people are taken care of economically, then crime rate is reduced drastically.
Okay, now let's talk about solution, because we do know we're really not with time as it concerns what you intend to do. But let's quickly come to it. Now, Nigerian oil production is currently at a level of 1.523 million liters a day, which is up from 1.503 million liters we had in the last month. And not only that, it's even far higher. This same time last year, we had about 1.118 million liters of crude daily, which means that we've increased in our production of crude because of some of these few sources gotten from the security agencies. But my question now is, how can we truly sustain these recent successes, so at least we have more revenue coming from our oil production?
Now, Mike Ray, I want to be very frank here. You know, we might mistake the offshoot in production, you know, level to maybe a huge success. But as far as I'm concerned,
it's a far cry.
It's still a far cry. Even if we produce 2 million barrels, I think it's about our OPEC requirement. Our quota is about 2 million.
But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet, even at that. But I want to tell you something, Mike. There is more to this. You know, our production channels, where we have our 5 outlets where we do our exports, where we do our recordings, is not enough. Like I keep on saying, Nigeria doesn't know the volume of what is produced in this country. The volume of crude oil.
After how many decades?
After I think that this is where the federal government needs to do something about it. Right from the production level, there should be a metric system that checkmates what is produced. And before it gets to even the outlets where we have probably the Bonnie Light and all that, then the one in Escrav was here. But be that as it may be, my dear, there is something that is happening where we don't know. The oil thieves don't go to these, people think that maybe they go to this point. So when the points go up, you might think that the activities of oil thieves
might be reduced. Or
no, it's not true. There are abandoned warheads scattered all over the region. Abandoned warheads that does not have the commercial quantity that the multinational
are looking for.
So what they do, they just abandon them. They are not manned. So these thieves go there, take advantage of it, and extract and get whatever. So it does not affect your quota. Only recently, I think the Nigerian Navy arrested I think one vessel from one Ghanaian vessel.
Yes.
And laden with about 2 million liters of crude. You know, that's about last week or so. And you see, it was they normally off their tracking system, every system in the ship, you know, that will give them away. And what they do these days, they say they go towards the western aspect, or before they now begin to turn and go back. So it makes it cumbersome for even radars to detect them and all that. So what I think the Nigerian Navy should do is probably involve in air surveillance. You know, we have drones and all that, air surveillance and all that, so that we can use that to checkmate. And probably night flights. I would recommend night flights. You know, at that level, even when you off your
tracking system,
your lights will give you away. The whole lot of things will give you away. Activities and thermal heat expansion from the ships will still give you away. We're using our drones, and this is how I'm talking about technological advancements. So these are things we need to do. We need to go back to the basics, go back to the drawing board, get the right thinking minds in place, and do the right thing. At that level, we'll be able to checkmate this. And then we understand that corruption is one of the greatest. I tell you, Mike Ray, what is responsible for this is absolute corruption, and corruption. Those who are saddled with the responsibility of taking care of, you know, of our systems, are those who are even misbehaving. You understand? So the leaders themselves, they go and they collude with these oil thieves to fleece the country of our resources. So we need to take care of it from the top down to the bottom. Like I said earlier, oil thief, oil stealing, oil bunkering, whichever way you want, the nomenclature you want to give to it, is not meant for the poor. It's a business that is an exclusive thing of the rich.
Exclusive reserve.
Exclusive reserve for the rich, for the bogus. So they want to get richer. They are the people who are fleeing the country of their resources. Forget this, your fire you do here. These are just little things that can be done, you know, that can be handled by government, regulate it and integrate it, you know, to the national platform, and we'll get better. But let's think of how to. They should go after the big names.
Okay, I think we need to go on the break now, but all the same, we need to thank you for joining us and having your insight, deep and accurate insight into the issue of oil theft and what needs to be done. Thank you so much, Mojofe Dafe, for really spending time with us. But then for us, we need to go on the break, and when we come back, we'll also have another guest, and he'll be joining us all the way from Bayelsa to give us an insight into the dealings of Tantita, and not just the dealings of Tantita, but also see how the local indigenes of the different communities where these oil wells are well located can also collaborate with government and see how they can really stem the tides and change it against the oil thefts. Let's go on a break.